All right, hi everyone. Welcome to Analyze Your Trade number 219, live on TimingResearch.com. This is our new lightning round 30-minute session format. So you're going to hear from a lot of analysts today, and they're going to analyze your trade ideas. So get ready to post your symbols in the chat. And of course, this presentation and event is for educational purposes only. Trading is not suitable for all people. Please consult financial advisor and only trade with money you can afford to lose. All of these sessions are being recorded individually and they will be available on TimingResearch.com. Also, if you search for Timing Research on YouTube, Substack, or your favorite podcast app, you'll be able to find them there as well. So opening the day for us is Anka Metcalf, and I'm going to turn it over to her.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Analyze Your Trade. I am the first analyst today on the show to try to decipher the stocks that you're going to place right here in the chat box. Let me know what charts you need to analyze today. I am here waiting for you. Okay. All right. Okay. Don't forget, just put it out there. Okay, the first one that comes up is FFIV. Okay. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for the stocks. Okay, so FFIV, let's start off with the top-down analysis. We're going to go monthly chart. We had a really nice pullback here back in April. The price action, actually, we did a really nice buy setup coming up here. And so far, we're trading into last month's high and last month's low right here. So this is actually not bad because this is a sign that we're maintaining the strength. We are compressing into this price level, and the compression is tighter than what it was last month. Obviously, we still have about a week to go before the long holiday weekend. So I'm pretty sure everybody's excited about that. So the monthly chart looks really great. Looks like it really wants to go higher in structure. And let's see just how high it really wants to go. All right, so let's see what the targets would be for this. So yeah, as expected, the price action found resistance at the 337 level, but it does have room to go to 368. So that is a positive, especially if you're holding for a little bit longer time frame. From the weekly structure, we have just tested the prior high that we settled in February. And right now, the price action is into a slight pullback. Nonetheless, it is trading into a power trend. It's trading above the 10 EMA. It has a nice equidistant channel from the 20 SMA right here. Okay, let's just put the 50 here. All right, in the 50 instinct, so a nice equidistant channel. So that means that it is set for a continuation higher into the power trend, into the structure. Now, within the last few days, what I have noticed is that the price action is literally just very much sideways. And what I'm noticing here is that the volume is going down. So not a lot of interest going into this FFIV stock at this point in time. What I do see is that if it starts taking out the 319.20, it could potentially start getting back into the pattern, back above the 10 EMA, back above these highs, and could produce a breakout for a continuation higher, obviously into the prior highs, into the 328 and into this prior high 334, and then we would go by the extensions that we have calculated from the monthly chart. So I hope this helps. This is FFIV. The next stock for Yawn is IBKR. All right, so IBKR, we're going to start off. Okay, here it is. We're going to start off again with the monthly. All right, so the monthly chart took out the prior high of the prior month. So it took out the July high, zipped a little bit higher, but now it pulled back. Obviously, we're not going to get into details about specifics about August trading and September trading, but expect a lot of turbulence as we're going into the end of August, especially with next week, next Friday being the last day of the month, and you're going to get some balancing into the stock market. And of course, we're right ahead of the long holiday weekend next week, and you're going to expect more of this action. All right, so the monthly chart, indecision, total indecision. We just came back. I love the fact that we are trading right now in a pullback into the 10 EMA. The price action is actually trading right now into a minor support level. The minor support level is coming from a prior pivot high from February. Nonetheless, these two stocks, I love them both. They have really great volume typically, and they are in power trends. And it's great to be in strong power trends, especially when the market is pulling back, because and if you're not in them, just watch pullbacks for them, because they're going to be the ones that could potentially start running faster, higher, and achieve targets way faster than stocks that have some relative weakness. What I do like about this stock is that first of all, we have plenty of time into earnings, which is going to be in October. So you're not going to have to worry if you hold it up from the swing standpoint of view, or even if you're investing into it, it's so far away. If you could take some trailing decisions into that. But over $64, if it takes out 64 or whatever the high is going to be for this week. I would say assess it, because today's Thursday, so let it trade into Friday. Don't rush into anything. But next week, if it takes out $64, it's going to try to zip back up to the prior high that we had last week. So great setup that is forming onto the weekly chart. Absolutely love it. Actually, I'm going to put it on my watch list as well. All right, so thanks for that. So here again, $64 is going to be the line in the sand. 64 from the daily is still going to be a pressure zone, because it's coming right into a 10 EMA, which is going to create that plateau of resistance. And if it takes that out, we still have a little bit of a hiccup here from the 20 SMA around the 64.50 to 64.70 area. But other than that, blue sky above into the prior high. So really nice stock, nice structure. I like the structure on the weekly, and I would trade the weekly more than I would do the daily. Bennett's asking about NVIDIA. I got so many questions about NVIDIA, so I'm going to address all the questions in here. All right, so let's just remove some of the things that I had here. So NVIDIA, and I was just mentioning this in the trading room today. NVIDIA, we have to watch when was the last time when NVIDIA was revisiting the 50 SMA? Because it has been in a massive power trend. Take a look at it here. It has been into this massive, massive power trend since April, right? Since we had the pullback in April, and since then we have been riding the 10 exponential moving average. The 10 exponential is that ultra super power trend, and as long as the price action stays above, it's going to really continue higher. But now we see that the price action, not only that it crossed below the 20 SMA, and it hasn't done that in a really long time, but it actually broke that 20 SMA, is heading towards the 50 SMA. Now, before we actually got into, and I'm going to squeeze it up a little bit here so you guys can see when was the last time when we actually tapped into the 50 SMA. It was here in May. So since May, we actually lifted higher, but it was a confluence of the 20. It was actually a confluence of the 20, the 10, and the 50. And basically, we didn't really have a lot of pullbacks to the 50 SMA where the price action reacted. This was actually one of the most meaningful rallies that we had since the rally that we had in 2024. And notice that 2024 was very, very similar to what we have right now. And then we had a lot of chop going on since then. So 2024, throughout the 2024 and even beginning of 2025 was relatively choppy. So here we noticed that when we had this pullback into a very similar, so this is a beautiful symmetry type of trade. So we had this swing up, we had this swing up. Okay, we had this swing up right here, and then we have this one right here. But these two are the more significant. And here, notice that the price action came in, tested the 50 SMA, and actually went lower. And here as well went lower. So this may not be the lowest point that, oops, sorry about that. Oh, okay. So this may not be the lowest point that we have for NVIDIA. Just saying. From the weekly structure, we have just begun the pullback. And again, we're sitting on support on the 10 EMA. We're still in an ultra power trend. So as far as NVIDIA goes, you have to go like 1 week at a time. So not necessarily a day at a time, but you need to see the proof on a week. So for example, next week, if we are going to start taking the 183 out, 183.20, then which is the top of this week, we are going to start moving higher. However, don't forget that on August 25th, NVIDIA will report earnings. So it's very normal for NVIDIA to behave the way it is behaving into earnings. And honestly, next week is going to be the last dynamic week in terms of earnings. Because other than that honeymoon for rallies and power trends driven by fundamentals is literally coming to an end. And you're going to get just some specific setups that are going to start working going into September, because September is going to be very turbulent. When we come back from the long holiday weekend, we're going to get, first of all, you have, holidays into September. You have the contract rolls into the futures market that are obviously going to affect the stock market as well, because you have the quadruple witch option expiration. So you're getting that massive volatility, in particularly that third week of the month. You're going to get the contract roll in the futures market that is affecting the stock market as well. You're also going to get possibly, oh, and by the way, I forgot to mention the FOMC rate decision, which is going to come the week of the quadruple witch option expiration. So that's going to be massive. So pay very close attention to the signals, because it's going to get, the ride is going to get uber bumpy. Okay. So at this point in time, NVIDIA is not going to be a buy. It's still hovering lower. Wait until next week to assess it. And like I said, if next week we're going to take out these highs over here, 183, 184, it could potentially signal a buy. However, I don't believe that we're going to get a massive action, especially that we have earnings in NVIDIA. When are the earnings? I think they're on the 27th, right? So I have to check on that, but 27 is next Wednesday. Okay, so next Wednesday, we're gonna get, yeah, they're gonna be next Wednesday. All right, so yeah, that's my analysis on NVIDIA. Like I said, wait for it, put it, and by the way, for those of you guys that have not participated in this mega rally in NVIDIA, now's the time to put it in your on your shopping list, because you're going to be wanting the next pullback in NVIDIA at a cheaper price. And we need to have the market is desperately needed, or needs to find a reason for the pullback. Everybody that participating, myself included, in this massive rally, we want to take some profits. Actually, I took some profits a little bit earlier in NVIDIA while the price action was trading here, okay, before August 1st. All right, so I closed my 90% of my investing in NVIDIA and Broadcom. My active investing, my long-term investing, no. I still have full position. That is a core trade. But I did take profits for my active investments in NVIDIA and Broadcom, 90% of them. 10% still in, writing it. All right, so that's NVIDIA. Then we have Tesla. Tesla and Amazon, actually, they were a little bit greener on the day. I saw the Max 7, which was a little bit greener on the day today, Kathy. So TSLA, here it is. Tesla, again, is kind of sideways. If you look at the structure, it's not kind of, it's super sideways. So you can see lower high right here. Then we have a peekaboo high here, but it's still into the same structure of the double top formation here, or lower high structure. And here you have like low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low, higher, low. So if you draw some trend lines in here, you can see that the price action is getting like very, very confusing, right? And you could potentially expect either a breakout or a breakdown. So definitely, if the price action starts trading above 420 or so, it's going to start breaking the trend line, and then it's going to become bullish. And if it starts breaking the support trend line, then it would be lower. in Tesla. So Tesla, again, very, very, very sideways. For more definition, you could assess it better onto the monthly chart. And you can see that this month we traded just slightly above the month of July. So we just had a peekaboo high here. And also notice that it's still in a power trend. So the price action is well above on the monthly. So for long-term traders, it's still above the 20, it's still above the 10 EMA. So that's a big positive. But also on the weekly, you can see this structure right here that we actually defined by using trend lines, high, lower high right here. So you're definitely going to expect a move in either direction. What I do like about it is that if you look at the overall structure, you can see that Tesla has been range bound for a really long time, right? Before this pop up here that happened in November. So this was post-election, and then after the election, we went down, and then we remained sideways. This, let's say, compression that is happening right here, this range-bound action that has been going on since May, it's actually a positive because I see this more as bullish than bearish with more of a breakout over 350. So that's my take on Tesla. Let's take a quick look at Amazon. And Amazon is on the daily chart. Let's start with the daily. It was trading inside day. It's hovering just into this 50 SMA. Possibly it may revisit the prior low into 218. It's just very hard to assess at this point because the market is in a pullback. And I really don't participate in the market unless I see some really clean setups for trades. But Amazon is one of those stocks that could potentially be on your watch list for later on this year. And as long as it's still holding the 50 SMA, watch for rotations. I like to go whenever the pattern is so messy. I like to go for a higher time frame to have definition. So the ultra power trend is intact, and it has been intact since April. We have just came in a little bit here in July. We popped back up, and now we're back here. There is a strong possibility that if this week we are going to start taking the 219 out, we could start seeing lower prices into the 211, maybe into the 210 to 208 in Amazon. So we may get a bigger type of pullback in Amazon. The reason why I'm saying this is because we already had a high and we have a confirmed lower high right here. So there is a strong possibility that we may revisit the 200 simple moving average along with the prior low into the 211 if we get the price below 219. So patience with this one if you want to still keep it to the long side. And again, if you want to take it for a short, I would say just wait a little bit. Just wait and see how the price action is reacting in a 219 because it's really premature on which direction it's going to go. Okay, Ben is asking about ISSC. All right, so ISSC, let's take it top down here. This is the monthly chart. So the monthly chart after making a new high here, it actually came back. It's still above the 10 EMA, so that means it's still in a super uber power trend. We also have minor support at $12 here. And you can see that when the price pulled back, you're going to see it better when I'm going to zoom in on the weekly and the daily. But the price action held January high. So this is actually really good. You could potentially see a reversal off of this point. Now let's check out the weekly chart. The weekly chart came in. You can see it a lot better here as well, not only from the daily. Okay. So this is a minor support zone. Potentially this could watch it for a reversal. Okay. So I would say watch whatever this week's high is. And next week, if it trades above this week's high, so let's say hypothetically it closes and we have a high of 1460, watch it for a buy over 1460 going into next week. I mean, this would be the area of the rotation, and this would be the buy setup confirmation that you can have in ISSC. And from the daily structure, again, this would be the buy. See, the buy doesn't look that great when you're looking at the daily because you have the 50 SMA and the 10 EMA coming in. So that's going to create a lot of problems for price. Oftentimes, there are a lot of algos that are built in to that location into the 1460 to $15 because of that. And you also have the minor resistance from these lows right here at the exact same price. So you definitely need to see the price over 14.60 or $15 before you take a decision into it. So yeah, it's a little bit more complicated. I'm noticing that the volume is extremely thin, so there are not many that are interested in the stock at this point in time. So wait until the volume picks up a little bit and wait until the pattern shows you some kind of confirmation. All right, SWIN, SWIN. Okay, so here we have this stock again, very low volume stock, and we're getting a lot of volatility here within these last 3 days. The stock loves the 20 SMA. See the dominance of the 20 SMA, the reactionary area. And we have a pop up here, pop up here, pop up, pop up, pop up. And as long as the price is still standing above the 20 SMA, there's still hope to the upside. Again, be very careful because it will have earnings right after the long holiday, and we're getting very close to that. So I believe that traders or investors are just going to sit on the sidelines before that, but it's not bearish yet. I would say that if it takes out the $4, it will start coming in a little bit more. That's from the daily. The weekly structure, you can see how erratic this price action was here. Wow, look at this move that we had in 2024. Look at this move that we had uh, again in May 2024. This was early in the year in March, and this was in May. And right now, I mean, I see so many patterns that have a very, very similar type of setup. For example, UP wheels up, right? It has a similar pattern with this one. Another one is Bull, Bull, that has a very similar pattern for a squeeze. It could potentially go for a squeeze, but I don't think it's ready just yet for that squeeze. All right, so this is my take on this SWIN. And the next one, Kavanaugh, this is for you. This is the SPY. All right, so here's what I see in the SPYs, right? The SPYs I analyze every single day. So from the moment that it created the sell setup, that created this is actually a bull trap right here that the SPY did. Very typical, and you cannot recognize this until you live it and until it forms. That's the sad part about these bull traps or even bear traps. So here we had the high. Here we have a higher high, peekaboo high with the move into the upside. This was such an artificial move right here, and this was such a shallow pullback. Whenever you see like a 2 candle pullback, especially on a daily chart, this is not healthy. Okay, this is really not a healthy pullback that we had right here. But this right here could potentially calibrate the prior pullback that we had here at the end of July. So I took the liberty of doing this for myself, and I determined some levels that are of interest right now. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm looking at. First of all, I was looking at yesterday's price action. You notice that today we're trading inside yesterday's price action. So today is going to be, I call it a garbage day. Take your garbage. Okay, market garbage day. Whenever I see these inside formations, I'm like going for a walk, going for a swim, whatever. I do everything else but sit in front of the computer. No need. So basically, what I'm noticing is that yesterday we had some really heavy duty buying pressure coming in. So I'm gonna, okay. So I'm gonna take this out so I can show you. Okay, hold on. Let me just take this out. I can't take it out. Okay, here we go. So we can see the price action a lot better. Okay, so see what we had going on in here. So we had a bottoming tail, right? So where did this bottoming tail come from? Anybody know? Can anybody guess? Okay, so we're going to trace some fibs right here. The bottoming tail came from a 50% measure move from this swing low to this swing high. This is a prime location for a pullback. Prime location. So throughout the trading day today, which I highly doubt that this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. Like I'm like almost 99.9% sure. But if we get a trigger above this yesterday's high, we're going to enter a buy setup. In which case, I'm going to get half the size swing long. Okay, because of the structure that we have from the fib, 50% measure move, swing low, swing high. So I love this area. Okay, I don't know if this is going to happen today. And in fact, like I said, I'm 99.9% sure it's not going to happen today. We are below the 10 EMA. Okay. We are trading below yesterday's high, and we don't have any conviction, and we don't have any catalyst. Now, don't forget today is day one of the Jackson Hole Symposium. Watch CNBC, watch Bloomberg, because any kind of interview and any kind of interviewer that they're going to bring there has the potential to shake and bake the market. They can move up and down based on the sentiment, based on what they're commenting. So be very careful about that. That's going to go on tomorrow, and it's going to go on Friday as well. So be very, very careful in the market. So I'm not expecting any kind of big moves because of that. The Jackson Hole Symposium is a big thing. They're basically laying out everything, and it's not going to impact today, tomorrow. It's not going to impact next week. It's going to impact into the end of the year and going into next year. So just letting you guys know. And we may probably trade on the momentum of the Jackson Hole Symposium all the way into next month, when we're going to get the FOMC out. Okay, FOMC rate decision. So it's that messy. Okay, so you have to always pay attention to the context, not just the technical pattern and a candlestick. But anyways, watch for the price action to compress here, and also watch to see if it takes out this, I would say, the 640 level. Yesterday we had a high 639.66. So 640 level becomes the happening place. If the market is going to take out the 640, then it's going to have a really gorgeous tradable void for about an hour, just a little over an hour, into the prior high of 647. And from that point on, we will decide what the next projection is. But we need to see the price trigger. We need to see the pivot form before we decide the projection, because we cannot trace it right now. So I hope it helps with the spies. I always analyze the spies every single day. All right. John Green. Green? Green? Okay. All right, we're going to skip that. SEMR. I've never heard of the green, but okay. So probably you were answering some kind of question that I've probably asked. I don't know. I can't recall. Anyway, moving on. SEMR. SCMR daily chart. Let's start with the top-down analysis of this one, because this is like a little bit of complicated here, so more to analyze on. Okay, so here's what's going on. High volume that came in this month. Super high volume, okay? That's one thing. My William percent R is into oversold. That doesn't mean that it's going to be a buy, but also draws attention to the fact that when I see high influx of volume along with the William percent R that is into the oversold, we got to watch it for a potential short squeeze. Okay.